Well, hello again. This is video number 6 for chapter 4. And so what I'm doing is just pointing out a few things that jump out to me. It might be different for you. I'm also doing this with the assignments and the responses in mind. So this is how I can sort of connect them and give you material to complete those. Chapter 4 is called Investigating and Exploring. And I'm just going to, again, look at these chapter headings. And the chapters are named according to the parts of this diagram. So it really is the way the whole book is organized. And the things that jumped out at me, on page 58, if you don't have your book out, then just pause the video and come back when you have it. So page 58, there's a chart at the bottom of the page, and it's ideas of how to respond to questions that children ask, and not just provide the answers. So the little bullets at the bottom of the chart, it's called teacher queries or teacher questions. And so what do you do when you want to get questions going and you want to have the students doing the work, making up the question and looking for their answers? And those little bullets, I like the first one. The teacher might respond with, "That's an interesting question. Where might you find the answer to that?" Or the teacher might say, "I've never thought about that. Let's find out together. Where should we look first?" And the last one, the teacher might say, "This is a new topic for me and I don't know the answer. Please come and share with me when you find something about that." So it's turning it back to the students. Page 59, the chart of activities down at the bottom. The idea is for you to create an investigation where students are looking for information. That is a good one to come back to. I particularly like myself the create mystery boxes. So you can put anything in those boxes, and it could be, if you're doing science, it could be something connected with a unit. There's no limits. So the idea is to get into students being used to asking questions. On that same page, the other box that says words matter, you may want to post these inquiry action words around your classroom. This would be like a junior grade. So I'll just leave that with you to look at. Page 60. At the top of the page, the blue box that says big idea. To adopt an inquiry stance, teachers need to be both leaders and co-learners alongside their students. So they need to see us. We need to model for them what it looks like to be an independent learner. On page, there was one thing too on 59, and you might remember this from some of the stages of development work that you've done in different courses, that especially at the junior age, grade 4, 5, 6, one of the things that kids just naturally love to do at that age is to solve puzzles. So if you can hook them on asking a question and finding information and organizing it and sharing it. That's something especially suited to their age. They love to have puzzles. On page 60, there was also, 61 and 62. Okay. The big idea here at the top, teachers need to model an inquiry stance as well as provide parameters and structures to ensure student success. So that idea again of modeling. And these 2 pages are all about one of those sort of ways of thinking. If you've had a student come to school and they tell you something and you can say, oh, I know, the parents have talked about that at home because they think the same way that their parents do about a certain thing. It could be a misconception. It could be that they've accepted an idea without analyzing it, without being critical. And these 2 pages are about how we get students to go beyond that. It talks on page 61 there, the little orange box, words matter. The idea or opinion formed before learning about and experiencing something directly, a preconception. So before you even go to the subject matter, the student has an idea about it. And then a misconception, they've got a different kind of slant where they haven't maybe considered all the information. So really that's a bias. And on the next page, it taught, 3 things that they mention that you can do to help get around that. One of them is to help students identify what they believe, to really think about how they're thinking. And that's like by asking them, what do you think about this? Or how do you understand this? Or what do you believe about this? So that they understand their thinking a bit better. 62, the second one is in the second paragraph. Walk them through a simple exercise that asks them to consider their currently held beliefs. So an exercise like the worksheet at the back, 3D. That seems to be a really important worksheet. And the third one is about helping them to identify what they already know about something. Like they need an anchor, they need a starting place. They have to move from what they know and add to that the new information. So it's important to ask those questions, as a group, as a whole class, when you're introducing something, a new unit. A good way to start off is that inventory. As a group, what do we already know about this? Let me see here, what else? That's about it for that chapter. You've got some examples, page 66 and 67, just kind of read through those. And in the next video, there's a little bit more that I'll go into still on chapter 4, but for now, that's about it. So the idea of modeling, the idea of being learners along with our students, and I just want to give one example. The one reason I'm finding this course so interesting is I see myself as part of that inquiry process. And my big question, actually, I'm just going to go back to look at this to describe my big question. There's more than one, but one was, how do I make these videos a point of connection? How do I efficiently make them? And I started off with a misconception, and that was, just have to unplug my power cord. It says it heats up the cell phone. My misconception was that I thought I was up to date on how to do videos for YouTube. I'd done it before, and what I found was I couldn't do it. I couldn't get into the chats. That was the big one. So that was my first big question. How do I set up the group chat and make it a place for communication? Now, I started in December with this problem, and I going around this circle here, I had my question, and then the next one's investigate and explore. Well, I did that. I went to YouTube help. I tried different things. I was getting nowhere, and I was trying to do it on my laptop. And then communicate and collaborate. In this diagram, they communicate and elaborate goes for all the outer ones, and so does assess and evaluate. They're in the middle. So there was a bit of collaboration. I finally, in desperation, put it out to the group. You know, I realized that some people were doing all this on their cell phones, and they're people that I got particular information from. So Kiri was the first one. She came to my rescue and started the group chat a few times. Then Melinda came to my rescue, and she actually did screenshots of her cell phone, showing me how to do it from a cell phone. And reflecting and sharing, what I realized was I had missed a step. Most of you are further ahead in the use of your cell phone than I am. I've always avoided it because when I do chats, I like to have my big screen on my laptop. I like to have a few, my book out, my textbook, a few notes in that. And that was my home base. It never occurred to me that things were changing. So reflecting on that, what I realized was that YouTube had changed. They took a function like open a group chat and get everybody in at once, no longer there. And I found some description of how they changed it because nobody was using it. So now that all has gone to the cell phone. So I've gone around this circle, and it was an inquiry process for me. And you were part of it, mostly on the frustration end because I couldn't get things going. And I went through a similar process with trying to do the videos. But I managed to get through that one on my own. It points out to me the value of being a learner along with your students, because that's what I was having to do. It wasn't just for fun. It was very functional. And the result is something that I can apply now. Like there is some new knowledge created, and we have done that collectively. So I just put that out there. These examples of inquiry learning are probably all around us. And, coming back to this very simple model, you can probably find examples in your own experience. So it's not just for in the textbook. It's like how we operate. So I'm sorry this video is a bit longer, but I did want to share that because I think it's important. So keep reading. Thank you.